Welcome to Let's Put an App on AppSource, Part 1. Hey, I'm Eric, and a request that I have received a bunch of times is to do a video on actually putting an app in AppSource. So let's do that. And I labeled this video Part 1 because there's at least if everything goes well, within the next, I don't know how long this will take, there'll have to be a follow-up when we see the app going through and so on. But something will probably fail, and then we need to figure out what to fix and so on. So part 1. And actually, let's get right to it because there's a ton of stuff that we need to go through here. So here is my Visual Studio Code. Let me make this one a tad bigger. And what we have here is the, my hair is weird. I'm sorry about that. This is the openrates.io thing that we did that could get exchange rate from openrates.io. So a very little simple app. I have taken what we did in that video and cleaned it up. Let me show you what I have here. So in that video, we just had one page extension that did everything. Now I took the function that we created, get rate for date, and put that into a code unit. I cleaned up all the error messages, so they are now labels, so they can be translated. I made it so that this code unit can also just, if you run the code unit, you'll get rates. So that means that we can put this code unit in a job queue, and it'll work there. I did a bit of cleanup on just how the exchange rates were inserted, not much. So basically most of this code is exactly what we did in the video. You will notice two things. At the top of the object, you'll notice that this now has an object number that is way bigger than the object numbers I normally use on an app, because this is from within my allowed object number range. And you can ask Microsoft to reserve a range for you. I have also added a postfix on the object, meaning that HGD stands for Hogarth somehow. All my objects that goes to AppSource needs to be prefixed or postfixed with HDD. In order not to clash with any other app, any other thing from Microsoft, since all objects still live in a global namescope. I have also, let me see what I have done. So I have activated code analysis on this one. So I have activated the UI cop, the code cop, and AppSource cop. AppSource cop is important because it checks a lot of stuff that you need to have the postfix, and the objects need to be in the right number series and so on, and there are things you're allowed to do and not allowed to do when you're on AppSource, combined with, in my app JSON, I have cloud target now. UI cop just makes sure that there's tooltips and images and all actions and stuff like that, which you should have when you're going to AppSource. Anyway, this is from a AL perspective, this is very simple. We have a page extension that adds a single action to the currencies list, get rates, and we have a code unit with one function, get the rates. So this video is not going to be about writing code at all. That part is done, and there's a video on that basically. So the only thing I did was clean up. I also added an AppSource cop JSON to tell what the mandated suffix is, and the supported countries here is, I don't think has any effect actually. Maybe somebody knows that. Let me know in the comments below. Anyway, so that's the first thing I did. I cleaned up my app and make sure that it was in the right numbers and so on. Then I built, so there's lots of how do you actually build an app, because you can of course compile it, and that's an app, which is fine. I have created my own system, so you can see here that right now I have 4 builds, so I can go and let me do a build. That's what I call it. Somebody says run a pipeline or whatever it is. Normally this runs on a server sitting somewhere. Right now I just have it on this machine to show you guys how this works. Ignore the Git messaging that happens here. But basically let me see if I can make this big enough. First, there's some job that increments the version number, so we get a build number. So before we had build 5, now we're building build 6. Then we compile the app, and what happens now, you can see that it's reading a lot of translation files. So I created a tool that will build translations, and you add a dictionary to it, and basically I have extracted all base app languages from Microsoft, all the base app languages, and use that as a very big translation thingy. So if I have a text that matches something inside Business Central anywhere, and I use the same, so if I use customer number, that exists as a caption inside Business Central. So only in places where I have customer number, it will just grab the Microsoft's own translation of that and use that. If it fails to find any translations, it will use Azure Cognitive Service to do a translation. Or if I have hand translated certain languages, I can add them to the cached pool, and then those will just be used instead. Then after the translation stuff has completed, I compile again. So the first compile is to get the translation file, then we translate, then we compile again. And at some point we now sign the app file, because if you upload something to AppSource, it has to be a signed app file. And then I do some Git stuff and ignore the other Git errors here, because right now I have not set up a remote repository yet for this guy. So when this one is done, I have a new build here, so version 6. Anyway, so the first thing we need to do is we need to put something on AppSource. There's lots of stuff that we need to have available. Microsoft have created a technical validation checklist, and let's run through that just very, very quickly. Develop, yeah, we've done that. AppSource JSON has mandatory properties that you must include. Name, publisher version must match the value set in your offer description. Okay, so let's get back to it. Coding of date, blah, blah, blah. Remote services can use either HTTP or HTTPS. However, HTTP calls are only possible using the HTTP request AL type. That's the only thing we can do. Any HTTP S or not S. I don't understand this thing. Anyway, Node.NET, only JavaScript controls. The app file must be digitally signed. We did that. We need a user scenario document, must contain detailed steps for all setup and user validation tests. So we need to write a piece of document. So I did that. So if I go back here, I have a, wow, hang on, sorry. Let me make this so you can see it. I have a Word document with there's one place you can click and that's it, which is actually the exact same information as I put on my homepage, because we need a link. So there's now a page on hogart.com describing this simple app with one function. Let's go back to the checklist. Application areas. Let's verify that we have application. We will actually get the AppSource couple will make sure that we do have an application area on all the things where we need an application area. So the AppSource couple will take care of that. Permission sets. See, I don't think I did that. So let's actually make sure that we generate permission set containing current extension objects. I did not do that. So while we read again, let me go back into the build thingy and build another version of this. Excellent, with a checklist, right? Before submitting for validation, ensure that you can publish, sync, install, uninstall, reinstall. I have already done that. Test your extension. I have done that. Do not use on before company open or after company open. I'm not using that. We don't have anything to upgrade. There's no data, there's no tables in this app. We have no web services. You require to register affixes for your published name and username and extension. We did that. I called it a postfix. Suffix is probably more correctly. Automated test. We have not done that. Shame on me, but I think with the simplicity of this app that will survive. Data classification does not apply. We don't have any tables or table extension. We have no profiles. Use add first or add last for placing your action in Business Central pages. So don't use the add before, add after fields. So you add first and add last, because then you're targeting group entities, and the probability of those always existing is way bigger than add after some random action. And you can see here that what I did is just add last processing, because there's always processing. So this will never break no matter what happens. And we cannot submit a runtime package, and we need to use translation files. And we saw that. So I think we're good now. So the next thing we need to do is that we need to go into what is known as Partner Center. So in order for you to submit an app to AppSource, you need to be a Microsoft partner. I am. And you need to have access to what is known as the commercial marketplace. And I have that. And you can see that this is my current setup. So in AppSource right now, from me, is the simple object designer. There's the onboarding app and BCCL. And you can see I have right now 2 drafts here. BC Benchmark, which I have to say is kind of on a back burner right now, rethinking how to do that. And BC Script, the compiler thingy, and that one is coming soon, I think. So the first thing we need to do here is simply to add a new offer. And the new offer is for Business Central. And you need to give it an offer ID. That's the primary key for the app in Microsoft System. So I'll just call this for open rates. And an alias is what Microsoft will put as the title in emails and stuff like that to you on screen here. You can see the alias, so I'll just call it openrates.io exchange rates. How about that? So let's create this. So now we have a bunch of things that we need to fill out here. So alias first, and then we need to tell what kind of package is this. Is this an add-on or a connect? So connect is a web service based package, so something that's not an extension as we know. So we want to do a true extension, which is called an add-on. And then you have three options of how to offer this right now. Get it now, free, which is what we want to do. Free trial is just a label. So there's, from a technical perspective, there's no difference between these two. The last one, contact me, meaning that you have a secret URL to the app that you can give your customers to be able to download it or to install it in their environment. Not to download it, to install it. So we'll just, we'll do this app for free. Test drive, I don't think it's working. So I'll just ignore that one. And then you need a CRM system. And the CRM system, and I will just on a different page here log into something. So you need to, so whenever somebody downloads something from AppSource, you will receive a lead into your CRM system, and the CRM system in, sorry, I need to do something on a different screen here. I'm trying to do too many things at the same time. So in this case, I'm using, so there's 5 different things you can do. You can connect it to Dynamics 365 CRM if you have that, it works perfectly, or Salesforce or Marketo. Or you can just have an endpoint where it's posting something. I'm using an Azure table. And in this case, you need a contact, and then you need and I'm just on another screen, sorry, I need to get the connection string. Let me do this. I should have done that before I started the video. This is how live stuff goes. Let me see. So I'm using an Azure table, so Azure's table storage. And then I actually have some stuff in the background that grabs data from that. So I will grab a connection string for my storage account and put that in. So now this is connected. I'm sorry that took a bit of time. This is going to be a long video. You won't. So let's save this. So first one down. The next thing I need to do is give you some properties here. And we need what kind of category is this? And these categories are strange. So I just go with finance and accounting. We don't need industries. We need to tell an app version. So let's go back and check what build number we had. 7. So 1.007. And now I need a legal terms and conditions. So what you need to do now is actually go and write yourself a end user license agreement. I have one already, so I will quickly copy paste that in and save this also. So you will see me copy pasting a lot of stuff, and this is all things that you need to go and create in order for this to be correct. So that was the easy one. Let's go to the more complicated one. So this is the marketplace details, the what you actually see and read on AppSource. So name we call open rate, exchange rate. You want to do a capital O? I'm not sure. And then we have a single sentence that perfectly describes what this is about. And if you try to use the word Business Central or stuff like that, or write dynamics in it, then Microsoft will reject this. And if you make it too simple, they say write some more, but there's no more characters to use. And so this I've had a lot of issues with this field, just to try to put in something meaningful. So let's do an easy way to what about seamless way, and I can't spell, so I'll go with easy. An easy way to get exchange rate in automatically every day. Get exchange rate from openrates.io automatically every day. Let's see if that goes. And then a description, and let me actually go to what I wrote on my page here. I don't think this is useful, so I will put something. Get your exchange rate updated with a single click from openrates.io. You can also schedule the update to happen why didn't I prepare this in right? You can also schedule the update to run automatically from the job queue. There you go. Search keyword. Exchange rates, currency, product your app works with. I don't know what that is. Help link, that will then be https://hogart.com/openrates, and privacy policy. So I have a privacy policy sitting on my website that looks like this. And support, this is me, and this, and a support URL looks like this. And engineering contact, it's me, and it's still the same email, and it's still the same phone number. And now we actually need a support document. And what I did here, you saw I created a Word document called Get Exchange Rates. Let me just, so actually here is on this is the same information I have on my homepage. So nothing new here. So I'll just save this as PDF. on another screen. So go away word. Sorry, there's too many things popping up and down here. I hope you guys don't get seasick. So I will grab that. Whoops. Wow, come on. I'll grab the PDF. There we go. Oh, and sorry, I can't do that because there's spaces in the file name. So let's remove the spaces from the file name here. There you go. This works. Amazing, eh? Okay, so now we need a marketplace logo, and I just grabbed the copy of the logo, and actually, let's see if this one is not the correct size. Please upload a valid PNG file. So we need to grab that logo. So here is Photoshop 216 by 216. So let's make sure that we actually grabbed the logo in 216. Save. And we'll call it AppSource Logo. Let's see if this one will work. We got a logo. Perfect. And I just added the name for the supporting document. Now we need to add screenshots. And I did some screenshots here, and they actually need to be PNG. So let's grab our friend. Let's see here if we can cheat. Can't remember if I have installed something that will convert. We'll just open them in Photoshop for a second here. I should probably have done that before I started the video. You see, that begins to sound like a theme. So I'll grab this one, and this one. Perhaps this one also. Come on, Photoshop. So the problem here was that I created them as JPEG, and it has to be PNG, and it has to be 780 by 1280 by 720 exactly. So let's see the size of this guy. So let's actually do a image size. So if I do 12, this one is clearly not the true size. I think we can just cheat here and do 720. I think that's acceptable. Nobody can see that. Let's stretch a couple of pixels. So that's one, and then let's get that out here. Export as, come on. You never realize this is going to be a Photoshop video. PNG screenshot -1. So go away with that one. Do not save. Let's do this one also. So image size, and do 1280, and see where that brings us. It's a bit more stretchy. I think we can manage without anybody seeing that. And I will export that one also. Screenshot. So if there's any marketing people watching this and say, this is insane, you really need to pay more attention and do this properly. Yeah, I know, but whether I put up a bad JPEG or a PNG file or a good one doesn't really change the process here. So let's grab this one also, and let's see the size of this. We need 3 at least. So if I do 1280 here, sorry, I do 1280, and yeah, that's close enough. And I'll do the exact same thing. So this will be screenshot number 3. No, when an app is so simple that you're having trouble, and I think, can't remember if, no, this one, so you have to upload them one at a time. So you need to 3, but you cannot select 3 and upload 3 at the same time, so you need to upload them by itself. That was 1. Screenshot 2. Screenshot 3. Let's see. There we go. Come on, Partner Center, you can do it. Excellent. And we add a caption. Get exchange rates from the currency list. Get exchange rates from with a job queue, using the job queue. How about that? Check out openrates.io for more info. Excellent. Videos. Well, there will be a video, I guess. We could link the let's just save this here. So now we are successful here. So availability. So where should this be available? I see no reason not just to make this available everywhere. The exchange rate table is a base table in W1, and we're not doing anything that's not available in all versions of Business Central. If you do, and this is where we should do proper testing and so on, if this were a more involved app, because base accounting, there's lots of changes in the different localized versions. So you need to make sure that you're not thinking that just because this works in a Canadian version, it will also work in the New Zealand version, because that is not the case. I have evidence for that. Anyway, so now we have selected where this can be used, but then we need to this is very weird. We get a key so we temporarily can see how our listing looks. So I'm just going to do something because it doesn't matter. This is weird. But this thing is deceiving, because you think, okay, I have selected where this is available and so on, but we actually need to go back to the offer listing. And what we need to do, and now I'm just copy pasting from one of the other apps, because we need to go into this description guy here, and then we need to add these 3 sections. If they're not in here, your app will be rejected. You need to, in words, tell what supported editions. You need to tell what countries are supported, even though we just selected that. And you need to tell what languages are supported, even though that's in your app. So this is kind of weird, and yeah. Anyway, that's a rant. Sorry, it was not meant to be a rant video. So I'll save this again. So now we get to the fun part, the technical configuration. So we need to upload an app file. And we have one in build, in installer, and that was 7. So this one needs to match whatever version number is inside the app file, needs to match what we put on the property page. If we have a library extension, so another app that this app has a dependency on, we can upload that here also, but we don't. So let's save this one. Co-sell with Microsoft. I don't think that this app is going to be co-sold together with a SQL Server or stuff like this, so I'm just ignoring all this. Is optional, and I'll leave it optional. And then the last one is interesting, because remember the text we just copied saying whether this one is in support both essential and premium. We also click that here. What is the target? This one is weird, especially at the, like we just had 18 coming out. So when do we upload, and what does current mean? I don't know, to be honest. So I just always select current, and so I don't get into trouble. We need to have a key usage scenario, so a Word document that says click here to get your exchange rates, which was the Word document that we created earlier, so that's here. We have no test accounts because there's no account here. And the last thing on this page is a test app, which is required. You see the asterisk here, but in reality, this is not used for anything. You can upload anything here, as long as it's an app file. So we can just upload the app, or we can, grab something totally random. AL project 30. No, not project 30. That seems like an experience integration. Project 7. How about 7? That's a hello world something. So that's just a random app file. It has no effect. Microsoft does not use it for anything. They have never used this for anything. So let's save this. And now let's click review and publish and see what we got. So we have offer setup completed, we have properties completed, we have offer listing completed, we have availability completed, we have technical configuration completed, co-sell completed even though we didn't do anything, and supplemental content completed. What I like to do is just go in and take a last look at the offer listing. So we have the name, we have an easy way to get exchange rates from Open Rates automatically every day. Get your exchange rate automatically with a single click from Open. With a single click from Open Rates, it's not this getting into an English thing. I'll just ignore this. What we can do is that we can always just send an update on the text. So right now, the important part is to get through that. We have those sections, we have some keywords, we have a help link, we have a privacy policy link, we have contacts, we have supporting documents, we have logos, we have screenshots. I think we're ready. So let's go to this one and we'll hit publish. Da-da-da-dum. Exciting times. And what happens now is that this kicks off a lot of stuff at Microsoft. And that's basically shown here. So the first thing to start is some automatic application validation. It will go in and check if, see, where is my Visual Studio Code here? It will like check that the publisher's Hogarth is matching the publisher name in my publisher profile that I have somewhere in here. I'm not even sure where that is at this point in time, but trust me. So we can fire on this and see if we already did something that was bad. And this will work its way through. So validate as much as it can, and then it starts setting up some different things. The test drive provisioning, whatever that really is, apart from page. There's tons of stuff that goes on here that I feel doesn't really apply to Business Central. It might have, like, well, lead management, validation, and registration is clearly to hook in that my Azure table into into the AppSource engine. So what we're interested in here, you see now this one has an icon, so it's actually started. So what we're interested in here at this point is to get to publisher sign-off. So publisher sign-off is like, now I get a chance to look at how the listing will see, how it will show on AppSource before we take this to the next step. And I was kind of hoping that this thing would not take so long, so we can actually get it in this video, just to see, or if something broken. If something breaks and we get an error here, then that will be for the next video to handle, because we're already frozen even. Let me actually, with that in mind, I can see that the picture of myself is completely frozen on that, and I'm gonna just ignore that and tell you that keep my face there. It's a wonderful position. I'll give this a couple of more seconds, otherwise we will call it the end, and then let's pick it up in part 2. See, I'm just frantically hitting F5 all the time. Okay, let's call it here. So part 2 with myself unfrozen. I'm sorry about that. I need some better equipment at some point. We'll pick this up in part 2, either because this one has succeeded and stuff is happening, or because we need to fix something that I forgot to do. So with that in mind, have a wonderful day, and I would love to hear how you do this whole process, and if you have any suggestions or any ideas or stuff like that. And I'll just press F5 one very last time. Okay, have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon.